What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Court Report. We've got a great episode for you today. Unfortunately, our Nuggets lost in a heartbreaker last night, but we're going to cover it. There's still things to be optimistic about. We also have our good buddy Mark Robinson on the show today. Let's get it going. What's up, everybody? How we doing today, guys?
Great. I would have been doing a little bit better if they could have gotten it done last night, but all things considered, doing pretty good.
That's good. Mark, how we feeling?
I'm doing awesome. I want to say thanks for having me first before we dive into all the talk today. I'm honored to be in this chair, get to talk all the stuff about the Nuggets, everything going on in the world of the NBA. I know this has been a long time coming, and here we are. We're finally doing it, so I'm stoked to be here.
Yes, we're super pumped to have you. Mark is, our on the court, behind the scenes guy at the games, along with Gianna for most of the season here. So it's good to get him on the show, get him in the studio, and we can really talk about some of these things that are going on with our Nuggets, guys. Like, first of all, what happened last night? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, last night was one of those tough losses, and this is just where the absence of Nikola Jokic just makes an obvious presence in the situation. When you lose by 2 against an extremely talented team like the Pistons, there's just not a whole lot to dissect outside of injuries. I mean, in my opinion, they played a great game. We had 6 players in double-digit scoring last night, so great distribution of scoring and just getting it done on the defensive end as well, under 100 points against the Pistons. So just a pretty heartbreaking loss overall. Wish they could have gotten it done.
Yeah, it seemed like it was one of those where it honestly could have gone either way. It comes down to a couple of free throws, and I'm sure we'll talk about those Jamal free throws at the end here. But it never seemed like, they were completely out of the game, and I think that's a testament to who they are as a team and how hard they actually do play. I just hate to see us get these losses at home. I don't understand what our homestand is kind of doing this year. It seems like you go on the road, you get a win like we had against the 76ers a couple weeks ago. Tough, gritty win, and then we come home and we lose this game in a weird kind of way. What did you see last night, Mark?
Well, first of all, I want to highlight I was literally in the studio yesterday, like grabbing equipment before I went to the arena, and I came downstairs to grab something. You were here, and you literally looked at me. You're like, God, I hope they win tonight. They've really been struggling at home. And I was like, oh no! I remember you saying that. And I thought about it as I watched Jamal Murray missed those free throws. I was like, oh my God.
So it's DC's fault. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess so. He really spoke it into existence.
You can put it on me, but it's the truth. They have struggled at home this year.
That's a fact.
That's just a fact.
Which we can get into like later on, the benefit of how they've done so well on the road and how that might help them in the postseason. But for now, talking about last night, the theme of the weekend for me that I came to the conclusion of, it took things a long time to happen over the last few days. It started out with it taking a long time to get out of Memphis. They sat on the tarmac for 5 hours in a horrible snowstorm. I heard from some of the altitude people that like buses couldn't get anywhere. Nobody could take the team from point A to point B. Like they were as stuck as you could imagine a group of people being stuck in an area. Like the snow was so bad, plane couldn't get out. The de-icing took forever. And so that led them to, in last night's game, have a very slow start. Like I think a lot of guys acknowledge the fact that you can't blame a loss on fatigue, travel, and all that stuff. But it's worth noting, like Jamal Murray, for example, he said, like, nobody moved all weekend. Like we literally sat all day. Like we all were in the same place, not moving our bodies, which I don't think people realize, like these athletes, these players, they're so good because of how consistent they're able to shoot around, lift, get their, workouts in and all that stuff. And they literally weren't able to do any of that, which is, I think, why it took them so long to settle into the game, because it was a really slow start last night. And then the way they played in the second half, I think that speaks to just how much grit the team's had all season, but more so over the last few weeks. They are a second half heavy team. They usually tend to have to kick into gear a little bit. They start out in kind of a lower gear and then they get moving, they get into their groove. And I mean, you see how that transpired into the second half. They basically brought it back and almost won the game, which I don't think anybody suspected that to happen. They tied the Pistons in second chance points, and they were really high on the rebound count as well in the second half. And I think just the slow start and how it took them a while to settle into the game was obviously why they were behind in the end. But there's still, I think, silver linings to see, and that they're able to pull themselves back in. The term everybody used last night was they felt like they were clawing their way back the entire time. They'd put themselves in a position early where they had to basically come from behind the entire game, and they almost did it. And I think there's a silver lining for their ability to do that because of the fact that we're also in the doldrums of the season. We're like in the middle of a marathon of an NBA season.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is a long season, and it is gonna be a long stretch of games. But we still have to realize, like, we've had a stretch of games without having the best player in the NBA, in the world right now, and they've continued to be playing tough. They continue to keep themselves in the games. You continue to close out games and be in it at the very end, if not win it at the end. That still speaks to something, but it also speaks to how much we're missing, because I think we still like kind of forget how good Nikola is, like, when he's on the floor.
I totally agree. Like, I think something else that's getting almost swept under the rug a little bit with this last stretch of games, the way they've been playing on the road, how they have like a well over 500 record without Jokic. Like, I think people are forgetting, like, you're going to have these nights where you're playing flat, you're playing slow, and you're lacking the fact that you don't have your best player, 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic, out on the court in the lineup. I think people are stemming away from making that conclusion and talking about that, because the more notable storyline as of late has been no Jokic, no problem. But I think it needs to get acknowledged again. Like you had said, at the start of the show, there's nothing to really blame besides the injuries and how many guys were missing. And I think that needs to have more light shed on it, in lieu of the fact that what's happening without Jokic is, let's be real, I think it's kind of unorthodox to see them winning so many games and performing at such a high level without the guy that usually leads the charge.
Yeah, I completely agree with that analysis. And one thing that really represents to me is just how big of a pillar he is. Like you're saying, that reliability when everything's going wrong, who can make it right? Who can make things the right way? And I think we mentioned it last week where we talked about the importance of David Adelman adjusting to not having Nikola Jokic in the lineup, making more timely timeouts, because you don't necessarily have a player on the floor who can just change things on the fly. And that's why we see them get into these holes where now all of a sudden they're down 16. Now they're back up 2. Now they're down again, because they don't have that consistent player who can just stop the bleeding and get that momentum back in the benefit of the Nuggets. So it's something really interesting to watch. And I think the other thing that we're seeing too is just how much Jokic influenced the Nuggets game with all these additional players playing so well. It really shows you just how much he was doing already. And now there's all this opportunity available because he's no longer there to do 60 to 75% of the work every night. And now these players are taking that percentage of it, and we're seeing Watson flourish. Murray kicks it into another gear. These guys are just playing at that next level because there's so much new opportunity for them to do so.
Absolutely.
I've said this once, and I'll say it again, and I will take this take to my grave. This Jokic injury is just what the Nuggets needed. There has been such a larger encompassing theme with this team, not just this season, over the last 2-3 years, like more specifically when they get into these deep playoff series, whether it's against OKC or LA or, any of these other teams that they've had to battle through to get to, a championship in 2023, or the deeper runs that they've made over the last years. There's been a theme that is, when Jokic is out, this team cannot win. They cannot play without him. And I think having this happen at this point in the season has taught this team how to play, how to win, and how to succeed without Jokic, which is just going to make them that much more stronger when they come back. Agreed. Or when he comes back.
Agreed. And you make very good points. And I 100% agree with you guys. And I think to kind of push the thing home, and for the people at home saying, oh my gosh, they're really harping on Jokic a lot, I have some stats for you. Even now, player efficiency rating, number 1, Nikola Jokic. Win shares per 48 minutes, Nikola Jokic. Box plus minus, number 1, Nikola Jokic. Offensive box plus minus, Nikola Jokic. Defensive box plus minus, Nikola Jokic. Number 1. Offensive rating, Nikola Jokic. Like, these are the things that we talk about. Like, it's not just like we're glazing the situation like, oh, he's he's this player that okay, they just think he's that good. No. The stats are telling us, like, even with the time missed, right? Even with this time missed, he's still leading tops of these areas in the league, which bums me out that he won't be able to return this week and claim his end of the season trophy as the MVP. And if it goes to Shea, me and Mon might lose it. But but it goes to show you how impressive not only this run has been without him, but how much he really does encompass being the best player, and how much the stats show how much he's doing out on the court and what he does for this Nuggets team. And it's great to see that the front office put depth in the front of the kind of perspective of what we needed to fix this year, and it's paying dividends right now.
Absolutely. And you brought up a really good point, kind of segueing into our next subject matter. The Nuggets is Jokic is now essentially going to be ineligible for postseason awards, any of the regular season awards like MVP. And, I mean, how is this going to affect Jokic's legacy? I know technically in the moment, we feel like these MVPs don't matter, and there is a lot of truth to that. I think we all know he should have won 5 straight, but are we going to know that 20 years from now? Is everyone, when they're discussing the greats, are they going to understand just how good Nikola Jokic was if he isn't accredited these awards when he truly deserves them? I mean, I don't know how you average a 30-point triple-double and don't win MVP. Somebody who averaged 32 and 5-5, basically. I mean, I get the impact that Shea made, but there's a lot to be said about Jokic's game. And when we do these little tic-tacky reasons why he doesn't get it, and the rules are the rules, I'm not here to argue that, but it's just disappointing to see because, when they're discussing the greats 20, 25 years, 30 years from now, when there's all new everything with basketball, just like we do nowadays with the old greats that have came before Jokic, where's he going to stand? Is 2 championships going to be enough? Is 3? Is 4 MVPs going to be enough? And the more he gets robbed year after year for these accolades, the more it can diminish his overall long-term history. And I know he doesn't care, but me as a fan watching greatness, I care, and he's a great person, and he really does deserve the recognition that he's earned, frankly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, as an NBA fan overall, I think it always is very disappointing, right? When you go back and you look at legacy and you see a great player like Jokic and you see all that they've done and accomplished, and then you go, oh, well, he doesn't have the accolades, he doesn't have the MVPs, he doesn't have the championships, so he doesn't get put in that top 5 greatest of all time. I think at least now with advanced stats, hopefully in technology, like, we'll be able to keep those numbers up and show how great he was and generational great he was. But I think you make a good point. What happens, right, when he doesn't get these? Now, does it put more pressure on, okay, now he's got to go win another championship, right? Because now you're looking at legacy and you're looking long-term, and it's like, this guy is a unicorn, right? Like, we're not going to see something like this again, right? You don't see centers dishing out triple doubles like it's nothing. And so I think, it puts a little more pressure on the larger conversation of legacy, like you're saying, is, are we going to be 20 years from now saying, well, he kind of got gypped. He kind of got gypped because he was that great, but he didn't get the accolades because he missed 17 games. Now do you have to go win 2 or 3 championships? I don't know.
It raises such an interesting topic of conversation, just with the whole, what it means to win MVP in general. Like, whether it's kind of a bigger topic, whether it's basketball or any other sport. There's so much controversy over, like, for example, like Jokic, like we've said, he should have won 5 straight MVPs. He should literally win the award every single year, because when you look at what the MVP is, the most valuable player to your team.
Yeah.
That is what he is every single year. But there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of sociability stuff that goes into it too, where, like, people will literally say, we can't just keep giving this guy this award over and over again. People are going to get bored of it. And it's like, too bad. The award is most valuable player to your respective team. That's what he is every single year, no matter what. And I like how you brought up all those cold, hard stats that he still leads the NBA in all of those respective categories without having played a game since late December. He still should be the favorite for the MVP. And 1 week of not playing this week is going to take that away from. It's such an interesting topic. Like I said, there's a whole conversation. There's a whole socialness aspect around it now. Like, I'm looking at the MVP odds SGA is now the favorite to win it. And sure, you could make the argument that he's the most valuable player to his team. Maybe it's because he's so good at flopping and drawing fouls, and that's what makes OKC so good. I don't know. But it's disappointing, not even just the fact that he can't win it this year, but just the whole conversation around what that award means and how people stray away from that because of the political and the publicity side of it, if that makes sense.
No, you make a good point. You make a good point there, and I think I agree. I feel like you had something there.
Yeah. No, the thing that I really find that's disappointing is they make it so political, and it really isn't. It isn't at all. You know, there is no marketing that needs to be done for an award like this. And I totally agree. I see this online all the time. People talking about like, well, it would just be boring. Well, it just wouldn't be fun. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's an award. The fun part's watching basketball. This is just kind of summing up the season for you. Like this is information. This isn't a game that you're participating in. This is just who was the best. And, it's one thing when there's mixed statistical things where you can make the argument, such as Shea last year, like, okay, there might be a few analytics that go back and forth, but when it's so one-sided, when you have a player who's just number one in everything, I just don't understand how there's even a discussion. It's like it's up to the professionals in the league to make the vote, and I think they get involved in the politics of it as well. The people who are involved in those off the postseason awards, and it's disappointing to see because it should just be more straightforward, and then we'd have to go back in time and award a bunch of other players MVP too. I mean, that's how it would work, right? That's why the argument is null. But yeah, I was very sad to hear that news that Shams reported this week. I know Jokic doesn't care. The team doesn't care. They've got greater focus right now. But again, me as a fan, man, it hurts a little bit.
I was going to say, I do think the silver lining of it all, you brought it up already. I love how Jokic, he could care less about it. He does not care at all about, he could win 0 MVPs and he would go on and he would live the same life every day, show up to the arena, play, hang out with his horses in the off season, and life would go on. But from a outsider looking in perspective, it's obviously disappointing and frustrating, but you have to live with it and move on.
Yeah. And I think sports in general, I think you guys made actually some really good points about just the politics of it all, because, we had this situation with the Hall of Fame voting and Bill Belichick not being voted first ballot Hall of Famer.
Crazy.
And that's insane. Like, it is insane. You don't have to like the Patriots. You don't have to like Bill Belichick, but you have to respect what he's done for the sport and what he did, and he won. And that's the truth of it.
It doesn't happen on accident.
No.
That's the thing that kills me. It's like, okay, yeah, Tom Brady played on the team, but he's not leading this. He's not the coach.
No.
Like, Bill is making those choices and decisions. Yeah.
Yes. And the defenses over that time that they won all those was the shining point of the Patriots, of those teams. It wasn't Tom Brady. Yes, he played really good and had some big moments, but the defenses were really shut down. And I just think it's the same kind of thing you get in voting with basketball and the MVP. And you get the writers who have their opinions and they write in their cities for certain things, and then they get a pass to say, oh, this guy is in or out. And I just don't like the politics of it at all. And I just think there is a lot of bias in the voting. I think there's bias in the All-Star voting. We'll get to All-Star here in a minute, but I think there's bias in the All-Star voting. I think there's bias in the end of the season voting. And I think there's bias when you get to the Hall of Fame eventually. And I don't think Nikola will have a problem getting into the Hall of Fame. If he's not first ballot, then we will be back here on this show talking about that and demanding an explanation. But whenever that time comes, years from now. But saying that to say, it does suck that we're having to see a season like this. And I think if you asked anyone who is an NBA savant, aficionado, fan, watcher, they would say before he went down, there was no one else that you'd put for MVP over Nikola Jokic. And to say, okay, he missed 17 games, and I think he might be on track to miss like 18 or right at 17. And so that hurts. I don't know. It just hurts. I think for us covering this season, it's been such a special season, and it still will continue to be a special season. But to have that would have been really nice. I just think personally, for the fans, for the city, and for the organization, I think it would have been nice. I think it would have been nice.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to watch Jokic play an unreal somehow his best season ever once again, you know, outside of the missing games. But, you know, segueing into what their future looks like without Nikola Jokic for the remainder of this upcoming week, potential return date as early as next Tuesday at the very earliest for him. They have MPJ's return game on Thursday against the Nets.
Yes.
Big time game for us.
Big time
Nets have been good, 7-3 over their last 10.
Yeah.
Not doing too bad. They're starting to figure things out. MPJ's hot, and that team's crushing it. And then we have Clippers.
Yep.
And then the Thunder. So 3 red hot fire teams right now. What are we thinking? What's kind of our predictions here with these next 3?
Well, I think, one, you know, I think it'll be interesting. What will the emotions be like at home when MPJ comes back? I think a lot of those guys were very close to him, grew up with him in the organization and had those young experiences with him. Will there be more emotion? I mean, they went and played him a few weeks ago in Brooklyn. Will there be more emotion? I'm curious to see how that goes. I know that they'll want to win. I know that the fans in the stadium will want to win that game. Does he get a video?
Yeah,
he gets a tribute video because he's a champion. He's a champion with the team.
He's a legend. He has the most 3 points made in the season too.
Yeah.
So there's clearly no bad blood or anything either. Like, you know,
but he gets a video, right?
With the Pelicans game the other day. Like, sure, he was in town for a game against New Orleans the next day, but he came and sat courtside and watched his old team play. Like, sure, obviously he's also going to say, like, you know, scouting out the opponent for tomorrow, but he's sitting there taking the time out of his life courtside to watch his former team. And I think outside of the competition aspect of it, there's a relationship aspect of it too that's going to have a really, really large weight on the game and the outcome of all of it. Jamal got asked at the podium yesterday after the game. Somebody asked him, you know, MPJ's coming back. Are you excited to see him? I know it hasn't been too long since you guys chatted. And he had an awesome answer. He said, I'll be happy to see him. We'll get him some buckets and we'll get him out of here. And he stood up and walked out of the room.
That was the closing statement.
That was the last question. That was the closing statement. He literally said, I'll be happy to see him. We're going to get him some buckets. We're going to get him out of here. Stood up, left.
I love that.
I know.
I think they're going to be playing hard.
I think so as well.
Especially at Ball Arena.
Yeah.
Emotions will be high.
Absolutely. And the fact that they've been losing home games, right? I think they're ready to
3 straight.
I think they're ready to end that. I think they went 4 straight earlier this season.
Yeah.
And then they ended it. So I don't think that they ever want to see that streak come alive again. I think that they will be playing very hard, and I think the fans will be really involved in that game. Personally.
Well, I think the loss against the Pistons too, it almost came at the perfect time because you look at the course of events leading up to this loss and then now looking forward to a game with a lot of emotional weight attached to it. You get stuck in Memphis, you don't get to move your body, you get tight, you play flat the next day, you come out really slow against arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference, and you drop one at home. Everybody was saying post-game wise, whether it was guys in the locker room or guys up at the podium, we had Jamal Murray and Jonas Valanciunas up at the podium last night, and the whole encompassing theme was we need to be better. We need to improve everything about the game that we just played, everything about what just happened, and we need to move that, and we need to put it forward into playing against the Spurs. And it seems like with the weight of the loss, moving that feeling into playing against a game with a lot of emotional weight, and also combining the notable factor that they aren't stuck on a plane anymore and that they get to be at home, resting, moving their body, and preparing the way that a professional athlete should prepare for a contest of any kind. I think that's going to give them just the firepower that they need to come in and start really hot against you know, the Nets in this game. I do think it's also worth noting every single game we've seen a different injury report. Every single game it's different. Some nights AG's ready to go and Jamal Murray's out with his issues or illness or whatever. Sometimes it's flipped and AG's taking the night off. Some nights, you know, you have every single starter not in the lineup because of just the way that things lined up with DA resting guys and keeping them on a minute watch and all that stuff. So it'll be really curious to see what assets he's willing to put out there for this specific game. Also considering the fact that you're looking forward to a big game against the Clippers. Obviously you look at a really tight best of 7 series in the playoffs last year. So there's some emotional weight there as well. And then of course, I think everybody's talking about the fact that we've got OKC for the first time. That's huge competition, and you're potentially previewing a must-watch playoff series with that first game of the year.
The Thunder are the big test.
The Thunder are the big
Everybody else is almost secondary when we're playing them. They've played very well against successful teams. They actually have the best record against teams over 500 in the NBA right now. So great statistic there. And even the experts are saying it. If anyone's built to beat the Thunder, it is the Denver Nuggets. And they knew that with this offseason strategy that they encompassed. And they really beefed up their depth. It's showing very evidently now, where we felt like 500 would be, hey, that's doing good.
That would have been good.
And they are basically executing at the exact same level they were before pre-Jokic. And just defying all odds right now. And I think the depth factor is going to be the big difference maker this season, because last year it was huge for the Nuggets. They had 6 people essentially who could be in the real rotation and effective on the court. And this season it's different. Now we have 9, 10, 11. Whoever wants to play that night is going to come in and produce well. I mean, Strother hasn't gotten minutes like all year. A couple games here and there, comes in 20 points. It's just there has to be a record for how many different players get 20 points on a team in one season. And the Nuggets have got to be close to it, because it seems like every other night, somebody who you haven't seen for a while or you may not have on your radar, boom, 20 points, 25 points, something like that. And it's just been incredible to watch. And I really think when it comes down to it in those longer minutes, the Thunder excel on the defensive end, but tend to struggle more on the offensive end, especially when Shea isn't driving that boat. So it'll be interesting to see, because it's almost the opposite for the Nuggets. It's like unlimited offense, struggle on defense. So Sunday, it's on my calendar. It's been on my calendar all year. I can't wait.
That's a big one.
It's heated from start to finish. I will be at peak level stress.
That's a big one. That's a big one. And I mean, obviously the Nuggets have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and beat them without Nikola, and that would be amazing. But I think, in all seriousness, they're outside of Colorado. I think most people who follow the NBA and cover the NBA would have said the Nuggets are going to lose most of the games in January. They're going to lose them. They're going to probably fall to the mid area of the standings, and they're going to really have to fight to get back to the top at the end of the season. I don't think anyone saw us winning as many games as we have without Nikola Jokic out on the court. And I really think it puts us into, and the San Antonio Spurs will be there. But when you look at what we will have coming back at full strength and a rested AG, right? Like there's not a lot of teams I think that you're going to put in front of the Nuggets other than obviously Oklahoma City. But I think it's going to come down to them in the Western Conference Finals. And you look at a team, I think we're more than built to beat them now. So I think it will be interesting to see what happens on Sunday, because I do still think that there's nothing to say that we can't beat them. But it'll be interesting to see how that game goes. It'll be interesting to see, because as of today and yesterday, there has been some chatter that the Nuggets may be active at the trade deadline here. We'll see who's on the team. But
the reports are it's a small trade, but one that fans will not like, according to Ryan Blackburn.
Yes, Ryan Blackburn did report that. I liked how he put that. Fans won't like it.
That means somebody who doesn't have a big contract, who's a fan favorite, is not going to be on the team by the trade deadline, more than likely. My guess is it's going to be a pairing of Zeke Naji and an attractive player to another team where they'll absorb Zeke's contract. If I had to make a guess, that's what I would be looking to do as a GM. But the question is, what are they going to get in return? What does the team need right now?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think a scrappy defensive guard. That's probably that's just on ball, can chase and move Jamal maybe to a 2.
Give us Lou Dort, baby.
Man, if Lou Dort comes to the Nuggets, I'm telling you, the Nuggets are winning.
There's not a chance.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Lou Dort is not coming. But you saw the fight the other day, by the way, or yesterday at the end of the game, where he grabbed old dude by the collar. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But you make a good point. I mean, I think Strother might be in the mix of getting moved as well.
I have a feeling it is Strother or Pickett, if I had to guess.
Yes, and I think people would be upset if Pickett goes, but he showed a lot of promise this year, and I could see teams wanting to, go after him a little bit. And I will say this for Denver: don't move Peyton Watson. Just don't move.
I don't think they plan on
I don't think they plan on it, but I think
we riot if they do that.
But we riot if they do.
I don't think it's quite time to move Peyton Watson.
No.
I mean, we talked about
but you never know in the NBA. They moved. I mean,
yeah.
They
yeah.
fired the head coach GM at the end of the season.
There's an elephant in the room as far as, you'd never think this trade would happen.
Yeah. And then look who's on the Lakers now, right? Like, I don't know. Like, so I don't know. Like, last year's trade deadline was crazy. I think with Giannis obviously wanting to get out, do teams kind of sit back at this trade deadline and wait to see if they can get him in the offseason, right? And or do we get something active here in the next 3 or 4 days and teams start making some moves? We'll see. We haven't seen much yet, but it'll be I'm curious to see, because I don't know what the Nuggets get back that we need right now.
Yeah, as we move into hardwood headlines, I think it's worth noting this trade deadline scenario that we have. There's a lot going on, and just to kind of finalize the Nuggets point is it also could be Spencer Jones. That's another guy who would be somebody who's attractive. How many days
do they have to figure him out? Is it?
It's coming up. It's really close.
Like I think it's 2 games. Like it's close.
So
they've got to figure that out. And the whole intention is to get under the tax apron.
Yeah,
they're 500,000 over the tax apron, and it really is a big difference if they can get under that. So my imagination would be, again, just a player that's playing under what he's paid or over what he's paid, and Zeke Naji, who has just way overpaid. I love him sometimes, but way too much.
He had a really nice skip pass last night. I got to give it to him. He had a really nice.
That's how it feels like when we talk about in Naji highlights. Like, hey man, he had a really good layup the other day. It really just stuck with me. I think he charmed Calvin Booth the same way.
Yeah, he was like 1 for 6 shooting threes, but that 1 3, so good, really so crispy, baby. Pay the man.
$8 million a year right now.
I've seen what I needed to see. I've seen an interesting name get tossed around a little bit as far as trade packages for us. Zeke Naji's a part of it, but people are saying too, like maybe deal Cam Johnson already, which I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's an interesting conclusion jump, so to say. Like, he's on this team for the first time this year, and he's like hasn't really had a chance to cement his role and how he plays within the roster because he's been away with injury now for what feels like, I don't know, over a month. So I think that's an interesting one. I don't know though. I suspect more of a lackadaisical, like sitting back approach for the trade deadline. I think the Nuggets are probably going to want to stick with kind of what's working and not so much worry about who needs to get moved around with contracts in the future, and more so like once these guys come back that are dealing with injury and you have more of a solidified roster where you have an elite starting 5 and a deep young bench that can back it up, I don't think there's as much concern, and you guys can agree to disagree. I don't think there's as much concern with like we need to make a big splash move to like switch stuff around within the roster.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the rumor, I had to double and triple check the source. But Mark, Ryan, and DC, I believe you do too. Like, he's not posting something if that's not what's being said around the room. So at the end of the day, like, definitely trust that it may be in talks. The other strategy could be the Nuggets want that leaked, so other teams start coming to them with, some of your guys might be good. Because one thing that this Jokic absence has shown is how many of these young guys have promise. And when you have so many of these players, like, look how good he can be with 20 minutes instead of 2. And it shows that to these teams. They want to get in on that.
Did you guys see the reports that apparently the Nuggets got a sizable amount of offers for P-Watt, and they've turned all of them down, every single one of them?
I think it's the right move if you have championship aspirations.
1,000% the right move.
Even with him still going to be a very tough new sign in the offseason.
Oh yeah,
I think you just can't move on because he's going to prove invaluable for a title.
And I think it also shows that because they're turning down all of these trade offers, there's got to be something going on behind the curtains of like, we want to work with you. We want to get you here long term. And like when we were in here the other night when the Nuggets were away doing halftime post-game live stuff, I asked you and Gianna, I didn't ask you this question yet, Ron, but I'd be curious to your thoughts. Do you think to an extent would Peyton Watson take like some form of a home discount too, because this is all he's known. It's all
I'd like to hear your answer.
It's all he's played for.
Yeah, I would say absolutely. I've actually publicly said this a couple of times. Peyton Watson has the appearance of a culture guy. He 100% has. You can feel it. You can feel the energy, especially Mark. You can attest to this, TCU as well. When you're around them and you're in the locker room and you're seeing how these players interact with each other, you can tell if they like each other for sure. You can feel that. But when it's not there, you can feel that too. It's very evident. They can hide it. They can say what they want. They can be like, oh, I'm playing with my best friends. I love all these guys 100%. But they don't mean it. And we can feel that when you're that close and you're in there and you feel the atmosphere and you're hearing them talk when they're not answering questions and just how they interact. Peyton Watson is a part of Denver sports and he loves it here. The city loves him. He's playing at an insane level. I think that if they are able to offer him at least over $10 million a year, they would be able to work something out. And I think that will come at the cost of some other players, but Watson just being a homegrown hero here with starting on the Nuggets now for year 4, showing player of the week promise. I mean, I just think it's worth it. It's worth it from everyone's perspective.
I would agree. I think and I said, I don't know, just because he's a young player. And when you put that bag in front of a young player who's a rising star, I don't know. Like, look, right now, I mean, we talked, Zeke Najee's making $8 million a year. He's on the books for $8 million this year. He's definitely going to want more than that.
About ready to shut my laptop and get out of here and leave. You gotta be kidding me.
Like Zeke Najee's making $8 million a year.
Calvin Booth is just the gift that keeps on giving.
I mean, Deron Holmes is making a little bit less than Peyton Watson this year, right? And we've seen he hasn't really had as much of a role on this team. Julian Strother is making more than Tim Hardaway this year. He's on the books for more than Tim Hardaway this year.
Yeah, he's on a min contract though. So
no, I know. I'm just saying, but you see a guy like that could be moved. I'm trying to figure out how you move around that money and who comes back, because obviously you got Jokic, you got Jamal, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson's has a pretty big contract for the next 2 years. Valanciunas, he's on a decent contract for the next 2 years, and then you had Najee at 8, 7, and 7, and then Christian, he's obviously going to jump up next year quite a bit on the books. So I'm trying to see where that money fits for him and what discount is he really going to be able to give us, because he's got to want. I mean, does he get more than 15 a year? Does he get more than 20 a year? I mean, Christian Brown is going to get 21 next year. So where does that discount come from? I would love it. I would love to see him stay. I just want to see who we're going to have to let go, and where do we move that money?
My really rough prediction, but I think it's feasible. It seems like everybody is in we're riding all the way to the finals type of momentum vibe right now, which obviously every team is going to be in that mindset.
Not every team.
True. The teams that are above 500, top 10 in the league, though, they're going to be in that mindset. And I think, the whole encompassing point with all this trade talk and all this, who's going to get dealt, who's going to be off the books, who's going to come onto the books, who's going to get a bigger contract, all that talks. The whole encompassing point is it seems like the mindset for the front office is, let's take this core, let's take this group, let's not try to mess it up too much. Let's get these guys back from injury. We're going to have a very deep, very elite roster that can most likely storm all the way through the playoffs, get to a championship. Who knows? Maybe win another one. Knock on wood. Don't want to jinx it. And then after that, how do you move around some money? How do you free up the cap to make space for who I think is going to be Peyton Watson? I think that's going to be their number one priority in the offseason. And I think it only helps the case for P-Watt sticking around if they take this core, this group, they go win a championship, and then the front office looks P-Watt right in the eye and say, you were a core piece to this team being able to go win another championship. You've already been here for a few years. Let's come up with a way to get you the contract that you want and that you deserve and get you here long term.
Yeah, and I have a solution to the money thing. I mean, it is tough, and I think it does involve this upcoming trade deadline, especially when we incorporate Zeke Najee's contract. Well, do you want to wait to the offseason and take the tax apron hit, or do you want to move Zeke Najee now while players are in the spotlight of playing well, who are now potentially more shoppable right now versus at the end of the year when they kind of fade out of the roster and the headlines? So the biggest solution would be get Zeke Naji off the books right now, trade him with a contract-friendly player like a Spencer Jones or a Jalen Pickett or Julian Strother, somebody who would be attractive for another team where they would want to take on Zeke Naji's contract.
Right.
And then from there, now we're down $8 million for next year. Jonas is on a team option for next year. I love Jonas Valanciunas.
Yep.
I think he has been a phenomenal player, but at $10 million a year, the question is, are we building for the future, or are we just trying to keep Jokic happy when he's off the bench? Can we find another guy who's cheaper who can do that? And Deron Holmes coming in still, maybe next year he develops a little bit more and can fulfill that role a little bit better. So I think strategically speaking, you get rid of Zeke Naji now with a player that's attractive for another team to get him off the books and not have to worry about his contract, save your money from the tax apron, don't really mess up the chemistry a whole lot. And then you go in the offseason. And again, I hate that I'm even saying this, but you opt out of Valanciunas' team option. And you can ask him, hey, do you want to come back for less money? Like you could ask Val that same question, especially if they win a championship. Hey, do you want to run it back on a vet min or $3 million a year, whatever they have left?
Yeah.
And let's do it again.
Yeah.
That's the approach I'm taking about the GM. You got to go all in Peyton. You got to do it. Even if some sacrifices have to be made, he's part of that core. He's been part of this team for so long. You can't miss that type of opportunity.
No. And I think for a small forward, the small forward position, particularly how this team runs, you're going to obviously have Jokic, you're going to have Jamal back next year, and you're going to have AG back next year. You know, that's a lot of money on the books just between those three. So you're right. How do we get the pieces who we consider to be homegrown, integral pieces to the team to say, hey, look how far we did, look how great we did this year. Hopefully you win a championship and you go, well, let's have some serious conversations now about bringing this group back together and running it back again. And if not, we can look at the trade deadline next year and say, okay, you know what? It's not working out this year. We need to get younger and we need to bolster up our height and athleticism again, right? But I think right now you don't move on from Peyton Watson. You don't make any drastic moves with this core. You keep them together as long as possible because there's nothing that tells you that you can't win a championship this year with what we've seen with and what we've done without. I think there's been a stint where all 5 of our starters have been out for stretches of 2.5 to 3 weeks, if not longer, right? Each one of them. And so to say that, and you're still in third place, going back second and third place, depending on how the Spurs are playing, there's nothing that says our strong core that we have right now can't take us to every place that we want to go going forward. I think after 26, 27, we're going to have to start getting very creative with money and youth. But to be honest with you, the oldest person on the team is 33 years old. So there's a lot of youth on the team right now. And the other person other than Valanciunas that's 33 is Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a vet that is playing at the 6th man of the year level right now. And if he doesn't, and I will stay on that argument and I will push that lever to get him the 6th man of the year because I think that he deserves it. Looking at the contract and looking at what's been done with this team, he's played amazing for this team. So we'll see what happens at the end of this year. But I think you get a championship, you get a 6th man of the year, you get those kind of awards coming at you at the end of the year. It's hard to move on from this core. And I think this core has what it takes to really move forward. And I don't think you move off of Cam Johnson so early, as we talked about.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest question now as we kind of go into the grand scope of the NBA.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
The trade deadline is serious, right? I think the Nuggets,
it is
all
serious.
reports are showing not a huge splash, so I'm not expecting a whole lot coming from that. But the rest of the NBA, however, has a lot that can happen between now and All-Star break. And I don't want to say worried, but if somebody like Giannis comes out west to a team that's contending against the Nuggets, that could be extremely problematic, especially if you give him a solid, well-structured team that's around him and Giannis wants out. It's going to happen. Yeah. And I just don't know what's going to happen from this. Does he stay out east, go to New York? Is he coming west? Does he go to the Thunder? Does he go to the Warriors? And I believe Adam Silver is probably going to influence that decision a little bit as well. So just kind of curious what your thoughts are. We've got Ja on the trading block. Even Trae Young could potentially be moved again. I mean, there's a lot of questions right now that remain.
Has he played a game with
He's
Washington?
Still out, but with how Washington's moving around,
who
knows what they've got. I just think that there are some surprises in store. plus some really big time blockbuster trades.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. I'm just so curious with Milwaukee. If you move Giannis, I think you have to move other players on that team because that system looks completely different. It doesn't make sense to go get one other guy to replace Giannis because you don't in that system. You don't replace a guy like that with just one player. So I'm curious to see if they move him, do they move a Middleton? Right? Like I think you'd have to get back the players and the collateral that you need. Coming out west, I mean, obviously the Warriors have to be aggressive right now, or kind of turns into a lost season for them. What does Steph stay there? Does he finish in Golden State? Yeah. Okay.
There's no question.
Okay. I'm just I'm throwing out there. Steve Kerr looks like this might be one of his last years there.
Now that could be.
And
I could see that.
And so, I mean, how long do you got Draymond? I don't know. Like that team just sometimes doesn't make sense to me. And with Jimmy Butler, it made a little bit more sense because you had a guy that can just go and make his own shot. And then you got screens and back screens and dribble handoffs that you could run Steph off of. And that's okay. That's, 80% of your offense. And I understand that. But when you move Giannis, I'm like, if he comes to the West, man, that would be frustrating. I just don't know where, and I feel like we're talking about either Sacramento, we're talking Golden State. I don't know. Like, man, I hope he doesn't go to like this, but the Spurs are fine. I don't know.
Like, oh my gosh, that is a literal nightmare.
That would be
Giannis and Wemby.
But I'm just thinking, like,
they've got the assets to get it done.
I'm saying they have the assets. They have players that they can move off of and that are young and have flexible contracts. That would be a scary team, and I would not want to see them. I would not want to see them.
I would have actual nightmares at night. Adam Silver would have to veto that one. That's insane. There needs to be like a superstar height limit on a team. You can't average over 7'3" between two players.
But I know that Sacramento's talked about moving on from a couple of people. DeMar DeRozan's on the block.
Zach LaVine's
on the block. Yeah, I think the West has a little bit more movement. I think obviously we talked about Miami. I think Miami could be a really good spot for Ja actually, to kind of go and revitalize himself.
Find himself.
But yeah, he needs to.
They love the bad boys in Miami.
Him
and Austin Reeves would be diabolical.
And I got no issue with that. Let him do that
Austin
all
Reeves.
the way.
What's his name?
The 3-point shooter.
Already forgot about him.
I cannot think of his name right now. He won the
Tyler Hero.
He won the 3-point contest in the All-Star, and we'll move to the All-Star break here in a minute. But yeah, I think that in the East they could make some moves. But yeah, I don't know. But like we said last year, I didn't see Luka going to the Lakers either. So who knows what will happen? Could we see another bomb dropped, or are we going to see something just kind of people shifting around?
Yeah, I think it's concerning to think about how many teams in the West are quote unquote front runners, so to say, to make a big splash trade for a player like Giannis. I think the one that scares me the most is Golden State, because they already have offensive assets that pose a threat, and they're not that far removed from being in a time where their team was so dominant and so much of a threat. Obviously, a lot's changed. They don't have Clay anymore. They've got guys injured right now as well. But like they're 26-22 right now. You add Giannis to that roster, all of a sudden it's like, look out, here comes Golden State. They might be making a push for the play-in. They might end up in the playoffs, and all of a sudden you're playing against Steph and Giannis. That's a lethal offense. That is something I want to avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
I think, like, you bring up a good point about Sacramento too. They're struggling this year. They seem like they're starting to creep their way towards like, we need to rebuild. We need to move assets out. We need to get draft capital and picks within in return to try to just rebuild as much as we can. If they get draft capital, if they add stuff from other trade, proposals and deals, and they also end up with a player like Giannis, all of a sudden you're seeing them in a scenario where they could turn things around in the matter of 2-3 years.
Yeah,
absolutely. And, Steph's on his way out. And the Warriors are a good potential trade target because that would make them effective right now. you know, and I think unfortunately for them, Jonathan Kuminga would have to be a part of that.
Yeah, he would.
That would be a non-negotiable part of the trade if I'm the Bucks. You know, I need somebody who's going to be good and arguably will be good. And they haven't hit quite as well in the draft as of late, like kind of since Jonathan Kuminga, like Podminski really looked like he was going to be good, and then kind of faded this season. Jimmy Butler tears his ACL, so it's just if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not particularly interested in what the Warriors would have to give me. If that makes the most sense, especially if he's going to go there and make them good. And like, what good are your draft picks now? You know, so who knows? I think it's going to be a big question, and it's really going to shake the landscape up. But what's going to be even more crazy is what these potential all-star reserves are going to look like.
Absolutely.
That announcement is coming any day now, probably next week.
By the way, before we move into that, I will have to say, if he doesn't get moved by the end of this season, I would say keep Portland open, because
I could see that
Dame's coming back next year. Him and Dame up there,
and Advia,
those three up there in the Pacific Northwest, that could shake things up in the West too, very quietly. But getting to All-Star, who are you looking at as a lock for a reserve right now? I think there's one name that we all agree on, but who else would you say is a who else would you say is probably a lock right now for reserves?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, Jamal Murray, unquestioned lock.
Unquestionable.
He has done it all this season. He has proven all, shown all. I think his last and final test was how can he do and how can the Nuggets do when Jokic went down. And he did better than I ever imagined. He averaged close to 30 and 10 throughout the entire tenure of Jokic being out. So Jamal Murray, unquestioned lock. I'm more than excited for this. I've been wanting this to happen his entire career. So it is just super exciting for me. And I will genuinely be shocked that does not happen. I think there's no way. The narrative is everywhere. Everyone is saying he's an all-star. It's not even is he an all-star? Is he quite there? It's all the talking heads are, this is a done deal at this point.
It is. There should be no argument. There should be no debate. There should be nothing that says, oh, well, maybe. No, I don't want to hear it this year. He's done the work. He put, like you said, you saw him in the offseason, or right at the end of the beginning of the season. He put in the work this offseason. He could have disappeared and faded away when Jokic went down, and he did the exact opposite. He stepped up. He put the team on his back. He got him some serious wins. And on top of that, now he's a league leader in multiple categories across the guard spectrum. So if I don't see him in, I will be sick to my stomach, but there's no way that that's happening, particularly with the way it's going with the internationals versus the USA. He's in. He's a lock. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even going to say anything more on it. Jamal Murray will be an all-star this year. There's no reason to lay the stats out again because it's just the reality, and I'm excited to see it. I think other guys, though, like, you know, I heard you say this. I don't remember if it was on or off air, but Anthony Edwards, I think he's a guy that'll probably get a reserve spot.
Should have started, in my opinion. I think Steph, we love him, but Edwards has been outplaying Steph Curry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Kevin Durant get tossed around a little bit. He's obviously playing well this year. We've had him in our building a few times. He's brought us some trouble. Chet Holmgren maybe too. It'll be It'll be interesting to see, you know. Well, honestly, like another thing that's coming to my head when I'm, you know, reading off some of these names and like looking back at some of the stuff I've seen as far as who's going to become a reserve, Jamal Murray is like the number one choice right now for anybody to get named to that roster, which is exciting. Honestly, it's great.
Yeah. As a Nuggets fan, you love to see it. As a basketball fan, you love to see it. Murray's put in the work. He's gotten the accolades. He's had the career. It's time. It's no question anymore. At 27-7, it's a lock. It's no question. But Danny Advia for me, from the Trailblazers is also a for sure lock. Alfred Sengun, he's a lock for sure. Little baby Jokic out there. Those are going to be my two additions to our Western Conference list so far. I think those are unquestioned. Night in and night out, just superstars. They just get it done for their team. And Advia has been one of my favorites to watch because who the heck saw that coming? He has been balling out this season.
I agree. I had Advia on my list, Sengun, KD. I think that, I mean, obviously, you know, I never want to see anyone get hurt. I think Devin Booker has been on a small tear over the last month and a half here, and probably boost himself. And I think because of voting, LeBron will get in. I don't know if it's deserved this year, but I think he will get in. That's just the truth of it.
Somehow, some way, for sure.
That's just the truth of it.
That goes back to the conversation we were having about how all these awards and accolades, there becomes like a social side to it. Like LeBron's going to get it just because he's LeBron. You know,
and he's voting. He hasn't been playing bad this year, but he missed what?
He's got an argument.
He missed the first 20 games or something like that.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So yeah, I think he'll get in. But those are my people on the bubble, and I think there's an argument that Anthony Edwards could have been a starter. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. He's
again, kind of the political
30 points per game right now.
Yeah. And the Timberwolves having a really good record, especially you consider all the facts, right? And Steph and Edwards, like playing level, there could be an argument they're playing at a similar level, but then you look at the tiebreaker should be the team record.
Yeah.
What's the impact? How is it affecting to the court? And nobody's here to say Steph isn't good at what he does, but Edwards has just been doing it at another level, and disappointed to see that from him, but I know he's going to make the All-Star team, so that's no problem. But it's just a lot of talent in the West right now. And I think when we pose this question, it's almost kind of sad. I can't really picture a whole lot of Eastern Conference players.
Yeah. I mean,
would you say the NBA in general is Western Conference dominant right now?
Oh yeah.
Because that's
I think a few years ago it was Eastern though. Because you did have like that Boston run where Boston was going crazy when LeBron was on the Cavs.
Yeah, okay. When LeBron was in the East, maybe.
Okay. But I think, and then you had the Heat. I don't know, there was that time, and then the Giannis and the Bucks had those years where they were always in the finals. Indiana has been a new team, but I think there was a time where there was okay, legitimate Eastern teams where you were like, no, they're good, But I think over the last 3 or 4 years, you could say the West has dominated most of the top headlines.
Well,
since Michael Jordan.
It's just crazy how that works sometimes. Like it's the same way with hockey right now too. Hockey is so Western Conference dominant. I would say with like this year's NBA season, it's almost a lock that a Western Conference team is going to win the championship. Like I don't see, regardless of who makes it to the Western Conference final, I don't see any team in the Eastern Conference like really posing a threat to the top contenders in the West. I think it's a pretty lopsided matchup when you think of the top 2 or 3 teams that are most likely to be in the championship on the Western side versus the Eastern side. I think it's a safe bet that it's going to be in the West this year, which also is a conversation topic of its own. Like we're talking about, God, please keep Giannis out of the West. The West doesn't need a star player like that. We're almost already in a scenario where it's like, oh, it's unfortunate because the Nuggets are like the strongest team that they've been over the last few years. They have a real shot at making a run, but it's unfortunate because we're going to have like what should be the Western Conference final, maybe in the first or the second round, just because how good the West is.
Yeah. It's a scary picture that's being painted right now. And especially if you add depth to some of those lower teams, and it makes it almost theoretically talent-wise a finals matchup. 4 straight rounds if you go to the finals. You have to face teams that could easily also go to the finals themselves, and you almost get yourself in a scenario like it was last year where you're going 7 games just to win, and the Pacers aren't a factor in the East this year, and I just don't know who is really equipped to handle it. I mean, the Cavs have some talent, the Knicks have some talent,
the Detroit Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons have some talent, but then they almost lose to the Nuggets without majority of their better players of the roster, and so
they were 2 free throws away from losing that game.
They could have won the game. It wasn't the Pistons beat us. It was the Nuggets beat themselves. And that is even more in the situation of how good is the East really. And, with Jason Tatum being out for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown's obviously been playing at an incredibly high level, and the Celtics have succeeded. But
and they're still top 2-3 team in the East.
But are they taking anybody in the West 7 games? Are they taking the Spurs?
No.
Are they taking the Thunder? Are they
the
taking the
Nuggets?
Nuggets?
Beat them the other night.
Exactly. Like, you don't get into that conversation until you hit like the Timberwolves and the Lakers, like for any East team. And then it's just like, okay, you might play just as good as them, not necessarily better. So it's just it's very lopsided and interesting. And it'll be even more interesting when the viewer ratings come out and they have to see like how this is unfolding, because it becomes a real question is, I mean, Adam Silver, I'm sure he will do something, but do they need to influence something over there and make it a little more even? Because I mean, as a huge NBA fan, the East is just not super entertaining for me at this point. It's just not much question going on over there.
No, you're right. And I mean, yeah, we look at the East: Detroit, Boston, New York, Miami, and the Cavaliers are the top 6 right now. And yeah, I think matchups make fights always. And in the playoffs, and in the postseason, I think for most sports, but particularly in basketball, I can speak to that. You slow the game down. Everything's slowed down. It's not as much of a get up and down. And right now, Detroit does lead the league in pace, right there with Miami. But everything slows down. So you make a really good point. In the half court setting, who's going to be able to lock down, get stops, and win games close at the end? Right now, we know the Nuggets can do that. We know that OKC can do that. In the East, Boston a little bit, right, has been able to do that. But when you come down to, you're going to have to score 122 points a game, right? Like in the West, 5 teams are scoring close to 118 points or above, 18 points or above in the West right now a game. Can you come down and go across country in the finals and beat a team like OKC or the Nuggets or the Spurs scoring 100 points a game? I don't know if you can do that
without home court advantage on top of that.
Exactly. So I don't know. And you guys make really good points. Is there a team in the East that can do it? Right now, the stats say no. We will see because styles make fights. But you're right. Going on the road or playing at a level where you're going to have to score 120-something points a game is not going to be easy to come in and beat, particularly at altitude. I'll tell you that. So
I'm getting excited for the playoffs. We're talking about this too far. We're talking about this too early. I'm like already thinking about who's going to play who, and I'm like, oh my God, wait.
It's going to be there before we know it. It's theoretically halfway, but it's not.
Yeah, it is more than halfway.
It's like 2/3 of the way, really.
Yeah.
Once All-Star break comes up, and it goes quick.
Let
me tell you, because now all eyes are on the NBA, so all these games start to matter a lot more and more, and especially as the Thunder might lose some, and the Nuggets close that gap, and the Spurs close that gap. By come playoff time, it's going to be a close race to the number 1 overall seed, and I don't think any of the top 5 teams in the West are out of that race yet. So it's going to ramp up pretty quick. But before we finish our show today, we want to close out our last segment here with Tunnel Talk.
With some Tunnel Talk. And it looks like we have a couple of comments. If we want to pop those up real quick. We got one. Shout out Mark Robb.
Mark Robb.
Let's go. Got some homies on the
Got some homies supporting.
Hey.
Shout out Armand.
They like your Giannis to the Warriors take.
To the Warriors.
That Armand guy's a huge Warriors fan.
Well,
so he's fully on board.
Good luck to you.
He's fully on board.
I hope that does not happen.
I'm with you. I'm on board. I'm on board for that.
Devastated at the trade deadline.
Yeah, that would not be good for anybody in the West. My goodness. But yes, let's get to our Tunnel Talk here.
What's our first one today?
Mark
Fit or not it?
Talk. Fit or not it, right? That's what we're going for. Fit or not it. First one, let's pop this up here. We got Tyrese Maxey with the oversized shirt, but the undersized pants.
This is a horrible picture of him too. He's like hunched up and over.
Sometimes they're just giant humans, and we forget that.
True,
they
that
don't
is also
all
true.
Necessarily aesthetically
well,
look
yeah,
correct.
and the photographers are usually not giant humans, right? So the angles could be very weird at times. But this is an interesting one. I don't like the fit of the shirt at all, though.
It looks really strange.
And the way that the sleeves end.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's almost like a windbreaker style.
Yeah. It's like just it all comes down to right at the sleeve.
There's and then the collar isn't quite pulled out the same on both sides, so it gives it kind of like an askew.
Is it? Is it a windbreaker?
It looks like a windbreaker material.
Be a windbreaker.
Something similar, because the way the cuffs go, usually windbreakers have it in the cuffs like that, where it hugs your wrist really tight.
It's
could be a crew neck,
very pilgrim.
Yeah. Either way,
looks
uncomfortable.
I'm not loving the tight to loose ratio. I feel like our pants are way too tight here, and our top is way too like we've got this huge turquoise situation going on here. It looks like his arms are like massive, and then we go down to like these really tight denim jeans. Like you gotta like. I think I'd like this fit a lot more if we had like some baggy pants going on.
Yeah. Right. Or
like
just combine the two and make like just normal fitting clothes.
Yeah. And I don't love the blue on blue either. I'm going not it here. I'm not loving this.
Yeah. I mean, as far as tunnel fits go, like I don't hate this one. You know, I don't love it. I particularly have a problem with the sizing of everything. That's definitely
that's
root
what threw me off
of my complaint. The color coordination is not terrible. With jeans, you know, it's sometimes just going to come off that way, but you know, we got the white shoes don't actually just look horrendous with everything. And I don't know why, but the dad, like New Balance style shoes are super in right now.
Yeah,
I'm not on board or a fan of that. I don't really understand I mean, comfort, I guess. You know, that's kind of the prioritization of current day fashion.
Other than the Shea boot that we saw the other day on the way to the game.
And then the Tims with the red laces, that was wild.
That was not good.
But yeah, I mean, I would say that this is like a barely not it just because of how things are sized. Like color coordination is good. Like the look is relatively like, you know, congruent top to bottom. It's just the fit is just a little off. And then you got a weird boot cut in there. For dad shoes.
It's gonna be not it for us.
It's not it.
We're gonna move on to the next one. Down in Memphis. I know it was cold in Memphis last week.
Oh my gosh. That cannot be a real picture.
Mr. Jones. He decided halfway through wearing sweats to the game that he would put this jacket. He says this is okay. I put my forces on. I got my gray sweats for the game, have my t-shirt on. Oh, you know what? I haven't worn this jacket yet. Let me throw this jacket on.
Is the hood and the jacket one unit? Is it all one thing?
That is a fur-lined jacket.
Yeah, a lot of times that's sheepskin.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's like a gray sheepskin jacket with a hood. I have a jacket just like this that I actually fucking love. But
so you should have worn it today.
I could have worn it, but I would not wear it with all the other stuff he's got going on there. It looks just silly. I will speak from experience. This is a jacket that probably cost a lot of money. And he's like, I just never wear this. And it matches gray and white. I'm going to throw it on, and like does kind of match, but super wild looking, man. I would only wear a jacket like that to a very specific location, like a very specific event, like a cowboy thing
or a winter wonderland event where it's snowing and I need some wool protection.
Right. Yeah. You're at a winter festival or something.
I'm not wearing that out of the house. Too many eyes, especially at like 7 foot. You're like 7 feet tall, sir. Like, do you need more eyes on you? I guess it's the tunnel.
And those jackets are freaking heavy too. Let me tell you, those things are heavy when they're real like that. It's nuts.
I think I would have been cool with it if just put some pants on, like put some jeans or
put more thought into it.
Yeah,
put a little more effort.
It looked like he like was about to put his hoodie on and was like, "Oh, actually, I'll throw this on."
Yeah, we were like halfway through a fit and he found out it was cold outside. It's like, "Oh crap, I'm running late. Let me grab a jacket."
That's what this one looks like to me. So I'm gonna say not it for me.
I don't think you guys are gonna like this for me.
You like it?
I am messing with this outfit.
Okay,
right here.
let's go. Let's go.
I think this is an awesome fit. I just like considering the circumstances too, the temperatures, all the winter they were dealing with.
True.
Oh, true. Okay.
He's like, I'm trying to be warm. I'm trying to be cozy. Why not do it with a risque style? And I just think the hood, the whole thing. If there's ever a time to wear this jacket, I think it was this specific day.
Okay.
I'm liking it.
I love the jacket. I really do like the jacket. I just don't like the thought that went into everything else, especially if there's some cold concern. Sweatpants, as many Coloradans would tell you, are not exactly effective outdoor snow pants.
No.
You know, it's not really keeping you warm.
As much as you think.
The wind tends to go right through those things. So
right through them.
I mean, I agree though. The jacket is phenomenal. I love the jacket, but the rest of it is just like
true.
It's a not it for me. Not it.
Okay. This was a good one. We had a good balance here on this one.
The point is good. It was cold as hell.
It was
like,
cold.
If you're gonna wear a jacket, you're wearing that jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an Eskimo jacket right there.
Moving to warmer areas and one of the former Nugget players, we got Russell Westbrook here.
We certainly have him here, don't we?
And he is in a young schoolboy outfit.
He's wearing an outfit.
Now, don't get me wrong, because I have 2 weddings. I have been 2 weddings in a suit with shorts. Granted, one was in Hawaii and one was in Mexico. So it was very warm at the wedding. The wedding's on the beach. But I wore a suit, a short suit, a suit with shorts, I guess. I don't know how you call it. The suit wasn't very short on me, but it was long enough. And I was like, okay, this is neither in a warm place or going to vacation. I want to hear your thoughts on this one.
I mean, first off, why do we have dress shorts but no t-shirt blazers? That's my first question. Is why do we not have a full short sleeve everything? I don't know if that would look better or worse, but just
You're
the thought of
asking
a
the real
t-shirt
questions.
blazer is hilarious to me because I genuinely have never seen one in my entire life, and I would love to.
A t-shirt
Picture that.
blazer.
Yeah, that would be.
We need to get our Sam on it.
I know. I'm going to hit up Sam after this. She probably actually would be down for that. But that being said, Russell Westbrook is a wizard at Hogwarts, making his debut for what looks like Ravenclaw. So
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of the summation of what he's got going on is literally a student at Hogwarts. I mean, everything matches, but
Yeah,
he's dressing for a house and he's about to go cast some spells on the court or something. I don't know.
that's what it looks like.
It's an interesting one.
What do you think, Mark?
You know, it's a little hard to see from this vantage point. I'm trying to look at like both screens. I'm trying to see what's going on with the tie. Like, is it supposed to be tied weird?
He's
and
got it
slung?
Yeah, it's like
tied. It's a
slacked.
loose slack tie.
Is that kind of the
and
look he's
collar.
going
The
for? Like, that's-
rebellious,
yeah.
that's purposeful.
School of Rock
Yeah.
kind of look.
Yeah. I want to give him some credit that the outfit does complement itself in a lot of ways. Like we got the beanie matching the vest under
Yep.
the coat. Like I see some red in the beanie, and I don't know what it is, but I see like some red going down.
In the vest.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
an
yeah.
inseam of the vest.
Yeah. The coat is really cool. If that coat was worn correctly,
is cool.
it is not being worn correctly. I will say that right now. But like that coat with like a nice pair of slacks and like a little more dressy top, that's a sweet coat. Even with the beanie too. And I know that like a lot of people have been saying that like corded headphones are in right now. Like that is adding to the outfit in this scenario. I think it's adding some sort of value. Don't love the shoes in this scenario either.
Combat
Don't
boots.
He's
baby.
rocking
Like
like
boots.
high top combat boots with what he's trying to have be like a dressy schoolboy look. This is a lock, not it for me. The minute I looked at it, I didn't even question that is I'm not loving this. Russell Westbrook, I know he's notorious for wearing some funky outfits, but not loving this one, man.
Not loving
Sorry.
this
Yeah,
one. Yeah,
that's-
I like certain pieces of this outfit very much so. As a whole, I don't know if I'd put it on like this. So
No, I think it's kind of weird.
You couldn't pay me to leave the
Yeah.
house like that.
He's either at the School
I
of
think you
Rock
could.
or the School
Depending
of
on how much.
Witchcraft
You
and
could pay
Wizardry.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be an honor from the three of us on this one. But hey, we like a lot of what's going on in the outfit, just not.
Respect the
Take it.
fit. It's just not it.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh,
I like
you
that.
just
Was a
dropped
bar.
a bar.
There
That
we
was a
go.
bar. Now this next one is it might be my favorite look of the week. We'll see, but this is in all for all NBA fans. Shout out to D Rose. This was D Rose's jersey retirement night in Chicago. Coming out of the tunnel, the jacket is immaculate. You guys can't see it as well here, but it's got roses stitched in. So those are white roses all stitched along through the jacket. For the people at home, they can probably see a little better. But those are white roses stitched in all over the jacket. Just looking clean. Looking clean. I just wanted you guys to see this one.
Yeah. Derrick Rose is really good at coming like dressy casual, but in the right way, kind of like Aaron Gordon does. They're definitely a different style, but kind of in that similar space of like doing well with the dress, but also being able to portray the casual, more at ease nature that Derrick Rose has. And his style really complements his personality so well.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always appreciated about Derrick Rose. And shout out Derrick Rose, man. I wish we would have brought it up in the NBA segment, but
I know.
100% deserved his jersey retirement.
100%.
This is a for sure it for me, and the dude's a legend through and through, on the court, off the court, with dress and casual. Like no matter what this dude touches, just an all-time guy.
All-time guy. And crazy. I mean, I don't know if I've ever heard of this situation before, but the guy's got 2 different baby moms and 2 kids, and they all live together. And they all hang out together. And he takes care of both of them.
Some people are living just totally different
Totally
lives.
different lives than us. And you got to be as cool as a cucumber to look like that and have that life. Shout out to D Rose. Definitely, I mean, one of my favorite players, just overall in basketball. Will go down as a legend in overall basketball, but shout out, definitely deserved it.
Yeah, they were having that discussion. He's just like, well, I got 10 bedrooms, so you guys just live here.
Why don't you guys just all live here? Why I
Yeah.
gotta pay for 2 houses?
Jeez.
So hey, shout out to D Rose. What do you think about this one, Mark?
I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. The simplistic, just kind of black coat, black pants, black shoes. You got the white that complements all the black on the top. I love the roses stitched in. It adds a uniqueness to the fact that this night is about him. Why not flaunt, some iconic aspects about you and your career a little bit? I think he looks so clean. Love the jacket. I think the glasses make the outfit too.
Yeah.
The glasses,
Yeah.
they really fit his persona and his personality. And like, I actually pulled up a picture on my own laptop of him a little more close up, and the glasses are so clean.
The glasses
They
are
are
clean.
so sick.
Yeah.
They're making the outfit.
They're like rose-colored glasses. A little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I know that you said this one was kind of like an exception because he's like showing up to his jersey retirement. It's a little different, but this is my favorite outfit I've seen up on the screen so far.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
so good
hands
looking,
down, for
so
sure.
clean.
Absolutely.
And I agree. Like, just shout out D-Rose, man.
Yeah.
Such a legend.
What a freaking era!
So
time,
cool.
dude, man.
It's just a baller. Like it was him. That rookie year was like crazy. I think did he win MVP and like rookie of the year or something like that?
No,
I think
he got
or-
it. He was the youngest player to ever win it.
He was the youngest player to ever win. I remember it was like the first couple years of his career.
He
in the
came out
NBA, and
hot.
It was like
He came out ready to go.
yeah,
As soon
And
as
him
he
at
jumped
Memphis
on the
was
scene.
insane.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, it was crazy to watch.
it was. This next one on to our Nuggets portion of the fits.
All right,
We got
what do we
two of
got?
our Nuggets guys. We got Tim
Timmy.
showing up for the game, looking fresh,
Okay.
looking fresh.
Not bad.
This is a way to wear a sweater right here. Keep it simple, keep it nice, come in with a smile, looking fresh. There's really no notes. I love this outfit. I just thought he looked fresh when he came in. I said, I like this one.
Yeah, the Nuggets definitely have a top tier group of people who come ready
They
to
get
dress.
dressed,
They
yeah.
really have, and it's diverse style, but everyone does their style really well.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've always appreciated about the Nuggets. They're just really good about how they present themselves on and off the court, which I find to still be relatively important. I think it does still matter to a certain degree. Like, you can express your personality like Tim's doing here, but still portray yourself as
I
clean
think
and
it was
put together. And this is kind of like a preppier vibe with the dress pants, dress shoes, the cardigan style sweater. It's a clean, crispy look, and he freaking nailed it.
He nailed
TSJ,
it.
man. Six man on and off the court. Just
He
getting it
nailed it.
done.
I love it. I love it.
I'm loving it too. Shoes are great. The pants fit the shoes really well. I love the sweater. I'm going to go the extra step here. The Nuggets made a TikTok about what every guy's go-to coffee order is. And it was done right here. This
I
exact
remember that,
tunnel
yeah.
walk. And in his right hand, he's drinking a flat white, which is like an espresso shot or 2 shots of espresso with like a little bit of foamed milk over the top. And I think it brings the whole thing together. He's got like a fancy espresso drink. He's rocking a clean sweater,
Le Fleur.
the pants and the shoes that just perfectly fit it. And like in the video, he's walking and talking with confidence. I'm a big fan of this fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6th man in the tunnel, 6th man on the court.
Let's go.
Hey, well,
Let's
I will say,
go.
Mark, I loved your fit. We didn't have this, I don't think, pulled out, but I loved your
No, we
fit
didn't have
on
last night.
the court. I believe this is
Last
last night.
Oh,
The
let's-
tie, I loved
okay.
it, man.
Well, here
You
we go.
looking
I got a
good.
great thing to shout out. Vic Lombardi.
Vic Lombardi.
Let me
I was
raid his
wondering.
closet the other day.
I was
No
wondering
way,
if that
little
was a
Vic
Vic jacket.
swag.
I saw the jacket. I was
Definitely
like,
had that vibe.
Yeah, he's
Vic-
a great guy. I met him at the game the other night.
Amazing
He's a really
guy.
great guy.
He's been a huge mentor, huge leader in my progression, my development in this career. And he had a lot of extra dress clothes lying around, and he said, come see what fits you. And that one by far was the winner. And I actually got a lot of compliments on it last night, including him, of course, who was at the arena working.
Yep.
He was like, man, that's a clean looking jacket.
Like, I know that.
Where'd you
I
get
know
that? Where'd you get that from?
That's
Um,
awesome.
But hey, I appreciate it. I mean, I've been trying to up my dress game. So for those of you that are watching all the Guerrilla Sports Nuggets content at the arena, me and Gianna, keep a lookout for some of the stuff I'm going to be wearing over the next few days, because I've been up in my game. I may or may not have a suit making its debut over the next few
Ooh.
days.
Trying to be like us,
Ooh,
Ron.
a little courtside
He's trying to
watch
be like
here.
us with
Hey,
the
I will
suit on.
say, before we get to the last one here,
Yep.
Guerrilla Sports team is the best dressed media team.
Best dressed media
Hands
team.
that maybe altitude. You guys don't count. Obviously
we
you
might
guys
have
Scott
crush it.
Hastings Christmas
You guys
sweaters.
freaking crush. Scott Hastings, legend.
Chefs,
Vic, legend.
yes.
Katie Wingy, legend. All legends in the fashion game. But
Absolutely.
outside of you all, Guerrilla Sports, we're taking that every
We're
time
taking
we
it.
come correct and we look good. And
'Cause
I want to
taking
start
over.
adding to this series some of our courtside looks. We need to figure out how to
We
get
just,
that done.
we just got to take the pictures. We
Yeah.
gotta take the pictures.
We get so wrapped up, man. It's
I know.
fast paced. It's like
I
go,
know.
go, go,
I know.
go.
We just got to remember, we get there, we're in the tunnel, we take the picture.
Yeah.
That's it.
Next episode, whoever's at these next 3 games this weekend, because I know it's going to be.
I got you tomorrow. I've got my camera. I'll get you and Gianna. We'll get some good
perfect.
I still need
pro
one
grade
with
shots.
All I was going to say though is for next week's Tunnel Talk, let's make a guarantee right now. We're gonna have some media team shots up there. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, I'm game.
I didn't get one. You got a good.
I got
picture
one
of
of Gianna a while back, but yeah, now I got a new lens, much better lens, crispy photos. So we'll get some pro ones looking like these tunnel walks.
We will. The last one here, Big Val, the casual Val, but I liked the pants. I've always seen him kind of more dressed and buttoned up. I never seen him
like
this
waterproof
casual
pants. What are
those? I think they're like silk type. I don't know. I really don't know, but he's looking comfy. I haven't seen him look like this monochrome kind of just gray comfy. He's always kind of buttoned up, has a nice kind of fit on.
Yeah.
So this was something new for me from him. I actually like it though. It kind of shows a different chill side of Val.
Yeah.
Like where you're like more just kind of leisure, casual, what do you want to call more contemporary look. I liked it.
Yeah, I definitely like it. Usually has more of like a Jokic henchman vibe.
Yes.
Where Jokic is running the family and he's here to just crack open heads. But if there's any guy in the league who's ever looked like a Viking warlord, it would be Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah.
Viking's probably an insult to his culture, but just in general, the guy is like a freaking monster of a human. But Mark, you spent some time with Val last night at the podium, and he's a funny guy. People don't understand how much of a goofball he is.
Freaking hilarious. Before I get into the podium stuff, did you guys see the TikTok Nuggets media posted about like the admin going up to the players and being like, "Hey, my New Year's resolution is to get as strong as
yes,
you."
Yeah, I love that.
His
He was
answer
so supportive.
was so funny. He looks at her. He goes, "Nice, okay. we lift tomorrow." 3:15 right here.
Cool.
Like he's like, we're getting at it, and everyone in the comments is like, this guy is giving like we ride at dawn vibes, and I would follow I follow him around the world. I would literally climb mountains and cross rivers with this dude.
Oh, I love Val, dude. Yeah, you just have to gain a quick 150 pounds of muscle. Like no big deal. Like
but no, he was amazing at the podium last night. He had such a good mix of all his answers were so well-rounded, so well-spoken, so mature, like talking about the loss and what needed to be taken away from it. He shed a lot of light on the younger guys. Like he said, like it's been so amazing to watch these guys play, to watch the depth grow, to watch them find themselves as players. He talked about how there's no, I'm trying to think of the word for it. There's no separation from like guys being away from the team as far as mindset goes. Everybody's in a team first mindset and working for each other and towards each other. And then he had some really funny comments about like Memphis over the weekend. Somebody asked him about how'd you kill the time? What'd you do during what was such a rough time? Jamal got asked the same question. His answer was pretty basic. He's like, I played video games and kind of sat in my room and just like hung out. And he got first asked like, how was Memphis for you? And he looked at everybody, just boys weekend. It was a boys weekend. He was like, we were kind of just hanging out, checking out the area. And then they were like, what'd you do to kill the time? And he looked at everybody. He goes, we just killed the time. We just killed the time.
That's about keeping it in the family right there. Yeah, you don't need to know more than you need.
And then
to
actually
know.
too,
I like a guy like that.
When he got up and started walking off the podium, somebody doubled down kind of in a joking manner and was like, you guys really didn't do anything to kill the time? And he's like, well, nothing that I'm going to tell you guys.
Exactly.
Like, he's keeping it under wraps, which I fully respect. Don't be telling everybody that.
Probably some Rocky involved in there somewhere. Yeah, usually.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, I think that's the end of our tunnel talk, our looks, and wrapping up here. Mark, thanks for coming on today. It was great to have you.
Thank you guys for having me. This is a blast. I hope it's the first of many. But
first of many.
We're many, just getting going.
Sure,
Mark.
But we taking over.
Up next,
of many.
DC singing career.
Yes, catch me later. I actually do have a DJing career, so come see a show soon. So yeah. But yes, that's gonna probably do it for us today on the Court Report. We can't wait to see you again next week. Goodbye, and we'll talk later.